following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots. Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. And now your hosts, Mickey Spagnola, Everson Walls, Nate Newton, and Bill Jones.
Another beautiful day for football here in Oxnard, California. Yes, it is day number 10 of Cowboys training camp. It's day number 3 in pads today, and we are now less than 10 days away from the first preseason game for your Dallas Cowboys against the Jacksonville Jaguars. A week from Saturday at AT&T Stadium. Bill Jones, Mickey Spagnola, Nate Newton, and gentlemen, we have football tonight, in fact.
How about that?
The Hall of Fame game is tonight. The Jets and the Browns.
Actually, it's this afternoon.
It's this afternoon? I don't know. For us, or is it really this afternoon?
I think it starts at 4:30 here.
What? Well, that's tonight.
4:30 here.
Is Aaron Rodgers playing?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, the Cowboys play next Saturday. Wait on us.
Not even Deshaun Watson is playing.
Thank you, man.
But it's football.
It is.
And it's on TV.
Yeah. Wow.
And Producer Supreme is motioning over here for something.
I was going to tell you, remember, DeMarcus Ware is doing the national anthem.
That's right.
That's right. That's the biggest thing.
Early.
Oh, he going to sing?
Yes.
I'll turn on.
Yeah.
When Mickey,
Tune in early, please.
Yeah, when Mickey sat down here with his parka, and you already got long sleeves on, you got a hoodie on.
My phone says 57
he's
degrees.
Dressed like this broadcast is from Green Bay.
Yeah, and look
December.
at Bill. He's sitting here with short sleeves like this, like he's freezing.
Wow.
57 was also
But
the time he showed up.
when Mickey sat down here, he said, "We got to talk about DeMarcus Ware."
That's right.
They said, "What happened to DeMarcus Ware?"
All right.
And I forgot, he's singing the national anthem today.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right.
I bet he's more nervous for that than having to give his acceptance speech, right? Hopefully they have the words up on the big board.
If that's the case,
if he's confident enough, if he's confident enough to volunteer to sing the national anthem, I think he's got it down.
Do you know Brad Sham's brother Eric sang
Yes.
the national anthem last night at the Rangers game?
Oh, okay, all right. And
Wow.
you can see Eric Sham on a daily basis at the Star in Frisco.
Giving tours.
He gives tours out there.
He's not singing, but he's giving tours.
No, I heard
he will sing for you.
sometimes.
Yeah. When he comes,
Maybe you have to pay extra on that tour.
Only with the Cowboys, right?
Yeah. Hey, Nate, what's on your mind this morning?
Just anything you guys want to talk about. We tried before the show. We tried to get a pre-prep with Mick, and all he talked about was DeMarcus Ware, and the first thing he did when we come on air is forget about DeMarcus Ware. So, Mick, what are we talking about?
No one
today?
asked me about that. Hey, I know what I –
See that?
let's start here.
Okay.
Mike Solari, he had an interview yesterday, I think, probably
That's
the
right.
first.
The assistant coaches did interviews with the local media after the walkthrough yesterday.
And so I was thinking with Tyron Smith, he talked about Solari the other day when he actually did an interview out there, and he was talking about how he brings a lot of energy to the room, talked about how he is kind of old school, and he'll tell you what needs to be told. But it dawned on me with Tyron, gotten here since 2011.
Yes.
First round pick. How many offensive line coaches, off the top of your head, do you think he's had?
7.
Nate, right on the.
Oh, really?
7.
It is 7?
I went back and looked it up, and it started Bill Callahan.
Good coach, great coach.
Yep.
Hudson Houck.
Great
Actually,
coach.
Hudson Houck first.
Good coach, great coach.
Then it was Paul Alexander.
A coach.
Half a season.
A coach.
Mark Colombo.
Good coach.
Then Frank, I skipped. Frank Pollard was before Mark Colombo, maybe.
I don't know
somewhere
much
in Pollard
about
was
Coach.
in there.
I don't know much about Coach.
And then Joe Philbin, and now Mike Solari. So it's like almost once every 2 years he's had a new offensive line coach.
Veteran offensive line coaches too, and in fact, Mike Solari, for you longtime Cowboys fans, he was on this staff when Tom Landry was the head coach.
And I was that.
And
Me
Nate
and him came
Newton
in
was
together.
one of the players.
87,
Yeah.
88. Did he
Yeah, we
get you
came
on
in
special teams?
I was doing our kickoff return. Yes, back then.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was part of the wedge. Yeah.
You were the whole wedge.
Yeah. We was top of the line. Go back and check the stat. We wasn't joking, bro. I was calling it. Whether it was right or left return or whether it was reverse, whatever, I was the one calling it. I wasn't the smartest guy in the world, but I could see the different hashes, so I could call
You
the
knew
different
which
side.
left and right and up the middle?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes,
So
sir.
anyway, I just thought that was interesting that he's had that many offensive line coaches over the
And
stretch
Solari's
of
well
his
respected,
career.
and that's one of the moves that
34 years of coaching in the NFL. 34. That's I should say this is his 34th year. So
Well, the guy who replaced Joe Philbin, he may not have been in the NFL for 34 years, but he's got to have at least 34 years of experience.
Yeah,
coaching, 'cause
and
he was
the-
in college prior to.
and
Iowa.
the difference in personality is 180 degrees, right?
It's all about your presentation with offensive linemen. When you walk through the door and how you present yourself go a long way with these guys, because they if you tell them one thing and you're going to be this way, you got to be that way. And a lot of coaches that first coach you did, the guy that went to the Washington Commanders,
Bill Callahan.
I liked him because he didn't play. If you played well, he gonna tell you played well, but you didn't play great, and that's what he's looking for. And when he work his individual deal, he asks for you to get into individuals and get involved. A lot of times, guys will have to do things. We really do win the game in practice. Our preparation is everything as a unit because we all have to be on the same page. And if that coach ain't getting that over real well and giving you scenarios and situations where you can adjust in the game real well or transform it to the what I'm looking for, transition it to the game easily, that guy's not doing his job. And coach, we've had a few coaches, Hudson Hall, Coach Callahan. Those guys are great. Coach Solari is of that ilk. You don't need new school offensive line coaches. You really don't. All of those guys should stay old school. Now, other positions, well, I'm serious. Other positions,
Right.
I got to
young
new this
coach,
and the
yeah.
new that, and
Yeah.
oh man, we doing it like this. And Coach McCarthy said, you don't need a lot of padded practices because the new NFL requires a little bit more athletic ability, and because the field we're covering the whole field. But that's not really true with the offensive line, because we're in a certain area all the time, and we're not going past that area a lot of the times, whether it's a pass or a run, we kind of stay in that same area. So it's a little bit more physical. So you do need that old school coach that's going to drill techniques, going to do his drills at a high pace so these guys can so it can be easy to transition to the game.
So, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking you had 5 different offensive line coaches with the Cowboys.
Coach Meyer,
Okay.
Jim
Erkenbeck.
Tony Wise, Coach Hudson Hawk,
Okay.
and did I have anybody else?
There wasn't somebody between Erkenbeck and Tony, right? Because when Jimmy got here in
Yes.
'89, he
Yeah.
brought Tony Wise.
Yeah, he brought Tony Wise.
And then
So I-
Hudson Houck took over.
Yes, I had all of my. Now my first Coach Meyer was my least, I would say, technique guy. And you had to know the plays, but technique and getting you prepared for a game for the situations that you will face, he wasn't great at that. But you were going to be in shape, and you were going to know the plays. Now, how you block those plays was going to be up to you. You know what I'm saying? But Tony Wise, Jim Erkenbeck, they made sure you knew the technique, the proper way to do it. And Coach Hudson Hawk was a technician because we were drop step guys. When he got here, we had to take a step, drop step, get in sync, and that lined us up always with the running back, especially doing running back plays. We were always in sync, always in step with the running back so he could get the proper read for the proper holes. And I'm telling you, I had some of the best, if not the best. The only guy I missed was that guy that left us and went to Washington.
Callahan.
That dude, he is one of the best. That's all I can say. He's not offensive coordinator. He think he is, but he's offensive line coach.
Yeah. Mike Solari, I'm just looking at his resume. And we mentioned when he was with the Cowboys as the assistant offensive line coach and special teams coach in 1987 and 88. Prior to that, he had coached in college. Listen to his journey.
No, go ahead.
All the way back
to
1976 when he was the offensive line coach straight out of college at Mission Bay High School out here in California, Myra Costa College, United States International, Boise State, Cincinnati, Kansas, and Pitt. Then to the NFL with the Cowboys in 87, the Phoenix Cardinals under Gene Stallings in 89, to Alabama with Gene Stallings, 1990 and 91. Back to the NFL, he was with the Niners in their Super Bowl, in their 90s teams that went up against the Nate Newton's Cowboys, 92 through 96. He was the tight ends coach, so he was Brent Jones' coach with the Niners. Then he went to Kansas City so that he would have been with McCarthy there early on in 97 with Kansas City. He was there at 97 through 07, offensive coordinator at the end of his run there. Then goes to Seattle, 08-09, to San Francisco with Harbaugh, 2010 to 14, to Green Bay with McCarthy in 2015, to the Giants in 2016-17, and then back to Seattle in 18-21 with Pete Carroll.
And what that tells me is whether you are a zone or a solo block. I call it solo blocking when you do one-on-one blocking. Now, zone blocking is when you take off and run and pick up man area. So it don't matter what offense you're in, this guy can coach it. And he understands what he needs. And a guy like that is, when you come into the West Coast offense, you have to have a guy like that can adjust to everything, because he got to be continually teaching his players, this scheme is going to be different this week because you change a little bit more when you go to the West Coast offense.
What was his last type offensive lineman?
Yes.
What was his last stop before coming here?
Seattle.
Okay.
See, they were a bunch of bruisers.
Yeah, and he was not coaching last year in Seattle. He was through 21.
Right. So. And a lot of times when the coaches move around like that, it has to do with staffs changing, the head coach coming in, getting the guy they want.
I mean, why is he here?
Yeah.
He was with McCarthy a couple of times in the past.
Right.
And so McCarthy has a comfort zone.
Who you know. Anyway, so, the assistants were available yesterday. Probably the only time we can talk to them, but they actually stood, in front of cameras or whatever.
He's your MVP. He's your MVP or he's your GOAT.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line. If we go far, it's going to be because of Coach Solari. If we don't go far, it's going to be because of him and the offensive line. I just believe that this year. And Mick, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. That's what I'm basing this year off of two things: protecting the ball and how our offensive line play.
And he's got a kind of a dual job here. Not only getting the starting five set, but he's also has to develop depth on this offensive line. And, we sit here and go, well, it looks like that second offensive line might be pretty good, but now we got to see it. Unfortunately, for some of those guys, and after watching the first couple team padded practices, you had some young guys at tackle like Willetsko. I guess Adoga's not exactly a young guy, but he hasn't played that much in the league.
Do we still do yoga?
I haven't seen that.
They better hurry up and get some yoga out here for your daughter. That kid is – I've seen ironing boards move better than that, bro.
They do yoga, yeah.
Yeah,
we haven't seen it.
That's because they do it where you can't see it.
Oh, Mickey. Indoors.
No, it's outdoors.
Oh, yeah? I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They need to hurry up.
Yeah.
They need to do it twice a day with this kid. I'm telling you, man. This number 11, okay, he's great. Number 11 is great. But he lines up on 71, and don't even acknowledge him. It's like he just ran right by him. He don't even acknowledge him. He don't touch him. He just walk.
So
that bothers me.
Here's where I was going with that, because
bothers Dak. He can't get anything done in
Parsons.
Parsons
It almost doesn't matter who's lining up at tackle.
I agree, but at least he has to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Tyron and
Steele.
At least they get a hand on him.
But he's abusing the tackles, and you got to So you got to decide: is it Parsons,
It's
or
Parsons.
is it these guys struggling?
Because I see, let's go right at Fowler, no problem. He'll knock Fowler on the ground. The problem with our offensive line right now, and this is with Josh Ball, this is with 79, let's go. You have to at some point jam the guy, stop and fight. You can't continue to give ground. You're going to be on top of the quarterback. You have to pick a spot and say, I'm getting to this spot, and you got to fight. And these guys are too passive. And I don't know how you change that. I don't know how you change that. And Chester McLaughlin, great Raider player out of Clemson, first-round pick, was with the Raiders. And we was watching film, and coach like, do this, Nate, technique this, technique that. And I was a mauler. I was a fighter. And so I'm trying to do all these techniques, and I found myself just backing up, losing every battle. And then Tony Wise stopped me. And he said, hey, look at here, Nate, look at here. He rallied cusses and, hey, Nate, look at here. But I understand that we're teaching technique and we want to believe in our technique. He said, but GE, at some point you got to stop and fight this son of a, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I started winning the battles again. He like, Nate, I'm going to teach you technique and we're going to have to always believe in that. But at some point you have to stop and fight and let a person know, I ain't backing up, bro. I got a pair just like you, you know?
And by the way, Chester McLaughlin was coached by Mike Solari in Kansas City.
That's good.
When did you run across Chester McLaughlin?
He was with the Raiders.
Okay.
Defensive man.
Right, 92 through 97 he was with the Raiders.
You talking about a talent that did not reach his potential? I feel bad. I feel sorry for that kid. I mean, now he was a great player.
He played 12 years in the league.
Huh?
He played 12 years in the league and four-time Pro Bowler.
Off talent alone, he could have been a 10-time Pro Bowler if he wanted to.
6'3", 334 pounds is what he's listed here.
Oh, yeah, and could ball. When he wanted the ball, he was nasty.
Yeah.
So there's been speaking of Parsons, when he did his interview, he was talking about the benefits of having Stephon Gilmore on the team, and they were going back and forth, and he kept talking about, well, I told Gilmore, if you cover the way you cover, you're going to get me 3 more sacks, and then he told Gilmore, he said, and by the way, you're going to get more interceptions because quarterbacks aren't going to have any time to throw the ball. You can kind of count on it.
So I love Parsons, and I don't care what he do or say, but why does it always lead back to I'm the man?
Because he is the man.
Because Nate, he is the man.
I know that, and that's why I say I don't care what he say because I like. Oh, golly, he's praising Gilmore. Oh, my. But sooner or later, Wise back around to I am the man.
And I will help you out, too. You know what it reminds, and this defensive front could be pretty strong, including the linebackers, because they're using the linebacker. Well, they started Parsons as a linebacker. Now he's rushing. They got Van Der Esch rushing as a defensive end. In some situations. That's going to be interesting to watch. But that pass rush could be awfully good. And you know what it reminded me of? And stop me if I already told the story. You remember Ike Holt?
Yeah.
Came over with the trade from Herschel Walker. So it had to be like 90 or 91. Everybody was praising the Eagles' secondary, how good they were.
Right.
So we're in the locker room one day. And Ike, he's pretty funny, right? And we're in the locker room one day, and somebody was talking about their secondary. And Ike goes, well, let me show you what the Eagle cornerbacks do almost every play. So he reminded everybody of their front.
Yeah.
Reggie White, Clyde Simmons,
Jerome
Brown,
yeah,
and whoever the other fourth guy was. And he goes, here's what their corners do. So he gets down in his stance with his hands on his knees, and he backpedals, right? And he goes, all right, here we go, snap. And he steps 3 steps back. He stands up, puts his arms across his chest, and
I
goes,
remember that.
I'm good, because he knew they didn't have to cover very long.
That's right. That's right.
Especially with that front.
Wow.
All right.
And so if the Cowboys can put a pass rush together like that, now you still got to stop the run.
Right.
But the pressure on opposing quarterbacks is going to help this secondary.
All right, we're just getting started here on Mick Shots on a beautiful Thursday. It is Thursday, right?
It is Thursday.
Hall of Fame game Thursday. DeMarcus Ware National Anthem Day Thursday, and we're back in a moment.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home, have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, and that would be kpostcompany.com.
All right, we continue now here on Mick Shots. You know, yesterday was Dak Day for the local media, which we got our...
Was that the car wash day?
Yeah, we got our 4 minutes and 30 seconds with Dak.
Did you use it wisely?
I tried to.
Okay.
Can you give us
my
a few?
best. A few nuggets.
We're going to get some nuggets from Bill Jones.
What would you
CBS
want to know
11.
from him?
I want to know.
But the Nuggets, you're the expert here. Come on.
You asked the questions.
Yes.
What was my first question to him?
Trevon Diggs.
No.
Okay.
No, in fact, I saw it happen out here, and I
Yes.
thought nothing of it.
No, I thought it was funny.
And then I see it later that it's making and
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Ducey's sitting at home. Okay. And
Right.
so he's watching everything that come in on Twitter. And so Ducey asked him about it.
Oh.
because and he said, and Ducey asked it in a very professional way.
And see, and what started it was when the offense was
he got a
doing-
smile out of Dak when he said it.
When the offense was doing well, Dak kind of postured towards the defensive sideline, right?
Yeah.
Inside of kind
That's
of
just
egged him on.
normal,
It was
natural
great.
stuff that
It was
happens
great
all the time that you
competition.
want to happen
Yeah.
on the practice field.
Oh,
That's
this-
right.
this world.
My first question was about Zeke, of course.
Oh, yeah. And?
Do you want Zeke back? Well, I hope he comes back. No.
Did he say that?
The way I couched it was how strange is it without Zeke here? And is there a part of you that hopes that someday you could be teammates again? And he immediately said, yeah, I'd love to be teammates again. But he understands the business of football, and, so I guarantee you, though, behind the scenes, he's saying,
oh, sure. And I bet he's talking to him regularly.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing he said. He said that he talks to him every other day. And he said he's had a couple of visits. Of course, the only one that's public is the New England one. Apparently, there's been another one too.
Right.
So
you know what?
Anyway,
I think
I'm just keeping an eye on it until Zeke signs somewhere. It's still an item.
If Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis don't pan out, sign him right then.
Yeah.
But until you decide in your mind as a coaching staff and as a player personnel guy, until you decide that these two guys can't do the job, then you just go sign them right
That's
away.
why when McCarthy answers the question about Zeke the other day, he's talking about right now. That when he's asked, do you want Zeke back, or it came up because of the Ronald Jones suspension, whatever, and he basically said that, well, we want to see these guys in preseason and training camp and preseason games and give them snaps now and see what we got here.
And that's what he was trying to point out. He wasn't saying
he's not ruling out
right. He's
that
saying
Zeke,
we got to give these guys
3 weeks
reps,
from now,
right? We got to see if inexpensively we can fill that spot with these guys. We don't need a progress stopper here. And even when Jerry said we haven't shut the door on it, but he went on to say we'll see as the season goes along.
As we get into the season.
Yeah.
And the way I take it, when he says into the season, they start getting into the season once they break camp.
Right.
Is the way I look at
Absolutely.
it.
It's simple as this. If you decide that neither one of these guys are what you need, because I like Ronald Jones, but that was never one of my guys. You can't. He's a progress stopper because Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis has shown great potential to me. I know as runners, all I need to know, if I can't depend on you to block or at least get in the way of the right guy doing blitz pickup or quick escape ball. Now, if you decide that you can't do that, I don't need you. I can go out and find pure runners. I need that guy that can do just a little extra. But if one of these guys can do extra, we have no need for Ronald Jones. Sorry, sir. I know you're a Super Bowl winner. I love you to death. And we have no room for Zeke. You can fill that with another spot. Mm-hmm. These two guys don't know how much is riding on them. They
need to understand it.
Yeah, they need
to.
But
where we are right now on Zeke is players get hurt all the time all across the league, and we'll see if a team loses a back and they need someone like Zeke, then the market is there for him.
One thing about Zeke, he's durable, he's dependable, and he's old school. He's old school.
You need a running back that's going to fight.
Yeah, he's
when
old
there's
school.
no gain there and you get two.
Yes,
right.
He's old school. So, but I'm telling you, fellas. The day you decide, don't wait. If you have 2 preseason games and you say, sign Zeke right then.
Right.
Don't wait. But because when this season starts, we do not have a letdown in our season, y'all. We start with the Giants. We do not have a letdown. We do not play anybody that's insignificant for a long time. So we can't afford to lose games because we need to be either 1 or 2 in the East.
Yep.
I mean, it starts Giants,
yes,
Jets, right?
Yes, we can't lose neither
and
one
then
of those games.
Arizona,
we can't
on the
lose.
road. Yeah,
we can't lose.
So to clarify on Ronald Jones on his suspension, he has to be on the 53-man roster. The suspension doesn't start until the first week. And so it's not like he goes on a suspended list at the 53-man roster. Am I right? Or does he have to be on the 53
I don't
and then?
think he has to be on the 53.
Okay, so he would not count.
He wouldn't count. Yeah.
Been suspended the first 2 games.
Right.
He would not count.
I think
something we need to clarify.
Automatically, I think, goes on suspension. I mean, I guess you have to be on a team. That's a good thing to clarify.
Yeah, we need to.
So did you ask Dak about his interceptions?
Well, it was in the context of I went down a narrative with his Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award, which, by the way, as you may have noticed if you were watching practices closely out here, there's a patch on his jersey that every Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award winner wears on game jerseys during games. Well, has on his practice jersey as well.
Oh, really?
And you notice, well, I don't have the media guide here, and so, but anyway, it's on the media guide. You can see it on there. But so I went down that road with him, and we got to talking about his mom. And of course, the big thing with his mom, as Jerry was pointing out in his interviews, is Dak's mom always told him, when he left the house in the morning, don't throw an interception today, you know. And so we did in that context. One thing about Dak, though, and he just turned 30. The other thing that this year, this fall, will be the 10-year anniversary of his mom's passing.
Oh.
It was 2013. And when you dig back into Dak's career at Mississippi State, that was his sophomore year at Mississippi State in 2013. They had a dual quarterback system there. He wound up starting 7 games. But I did some digging and researching for the interview. Went back and looked at when his mom died, which was November 3rd of 2013. They played Texas A&M, Johnny Manziel and Texas A&M the following Saturday. He buried his mom on Wednesday. He played in the game on Saturday, and he played a great game. He got hurt in that game. Okay, he hurt his elbow, and it was one of those Brock Purdy type injuries where he couldn't feel anything. He had to come out of the game. All right. The Egg Bowl, the big rivalry game against Ole Miss, which was 19 days later, November 28th.
Covered many of those.
Okay. The doctors leading up to that game said it would be a miracle if Dak Prescott played in that game because of what was going on with his elbow. So he didn't start the game. Mississippi State is trailing in the fourth quarter. Dak comes off the bench, even though it's a miracle that he could even come off the bench. He completes 11 passes. They tie the game. They go into overtime. Dak scores the winning touchdown in overtime. I get goosebumps even just telling the story. But it was just when Dak talks about, which is kind of the theme of his career, dealing with adversity, and you find strength in adversity. I mean, that it was manifested in the days and weeks after his mom's passing, and it has set the tone for his entire career. He went on the next year, Mississippi State. Mississippi State's never ranked number 1 in the country. They got all the way up to number 1 in the country the following year with him as a starting quarterback. When you go back and review his college career, you go, and then you know what we know about him as a leader and everything about him. How in the world did NFL teams miss on this guy where he was a 4th-round draft pick? It's amazing when you go back and look at what he did in college.
And every one of them missed on him. And the
Cowboys, every single team. Yeah.
And the Cowboys missed 4 rounds before they got him.
Everybody
with the second
did.
pick in the 4th round, right?
Because you know that when they wanted someone else.
They tried 3 other quarterbacks they tried to get.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys got
none of them that were drafted ahead of them are still, if I got this right, still with their same team.
Yep. So anyway, I went down that road with Dak in the interview.
The Cowboys got to be the luckiest we fell into you type team. So we fell into number 11 the same way. We fell into number 11 because we wanted some corners. The corners weren't there.
That's right.
We'll take this guy.
I mean, you could do the same thing with Micah. Go look at him and like, how did 11 teams miss on him before the Cowboys got him with the 12th pick in the first round?
Thank you.
All right, we continue with more Mick shots in a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to Mick Shots.
Right now, Mickey is not here, but I'm going to do the Fan of the Year. Do you eat, sleep, and breathe Dallas Cowboys football? Tell us how you spice up the game for a chance to be named the 2023 Cowboy Fan of the Year. Presented by Captain Morgan, and win exclusive prizes plus a trip to Super Bowl 58. Nominate yourself or another today at DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. And Mickey is drinking some Captain Morgan. Thank you.
The water boy's back. He got us all waters.
Back.
Guess what happened?
What?
The first one I punched in, the thing moved over there.
You got stuck.
No, and it left before the thing came in the receptacle. I said, oh, no.
You need to explain what you're talking about.
So there's a machine there. You got to push the letter and the number, and the little deal kind of comes up.
Did it grab some
drops
bottle?
it in.
Did it go, and deposit it?
Yeah, very
Sometimes
good.
Halfway grab the bottle's stuck there, and then you
So
got
this one,
the machine.
the thing left, and the thing dropped to the bottom of the machine.
So Mickey left here. He needed some water, and Nate insisted he get 3 of them for us. And producer
And
Supreme
look, I got
Cornhole
you
champion over
snacks
there
if you need
said
some.
that you got 2 minutes. It's a 2-minute break, and obviously Mickey didn't make it back in 2 minutes.
So you can read that fan thing. I think I messed up on part of it, but hey.
And by the way, this
think
show
you did
is
pretty good.
brought to you by Miller Lite.
That's right.
And they like Mickey so much that Mickey has a lot of gear from Miller Lite now.
So when you mentioned, this is going to be a good segue into DeMarcus Ware, the 11th pick.
Yes, that's right. We need to talk D. Ware.
That's right. The Cowboys got DeMarcus Ware with the 11th pick in the first round in 2005,
Wow.
if you remember.
Yeah, great pick. Great pick.
Bill and I wanted him.
That's right. In fact, that was in the early days of the Cowboys channel, and we were doing programming for the Cowboys channel leading up to the draft, and we interviewed, I want to say it was his college coach. We interviewed Marcus Spears' high school coach. So we had it narrowed down just like they did in the Cowboys draft room. They had it narrowed down to Marcus Spears, this former basketball player from Southern Lab High School in Baton Rouge. He went to LSU. And DeMarcus Ware, this former wide
From
receiver,
Troy.
At Troy, who went to Troy as a 195-pound wide receiver and came out of Troy as a 260-pound defensive end. And we decided that D. Ware should be the pick. Sean Merriman was the other one that they had in, and we all liked D. Ware.
Well, the interesting thing on DeMarcus Ware, I remember that year I was headed to the Super Bowl in Florida, and on the way we stopped in Alabama for the Senior Bowl, and in Mobile. And I remember asking, I believe I asked Chris Hall, I said, you guys are looking for sort of a linebacker, pass rushing defensive end. Who should I keep my eye on? And he said, this guy, DeMarcus Ware, just kind of keep an eye on him, right? Well, during the game, and that's all I saw was the game, they had lined him up as a down defensive end with his hand on the ground, and then they lined him up as like an outside linebacker, right? And, man, he could do both. And there was a play that was away from him, and he was at left defensive end. He ran the guy down on the right sideline, and I'm going, okay, I'm sold on this guy. That's got to be the pick. And they ended up getting him with 11 and Spears at 20.
Yep.
And the rest is history.
And Jerry, I asked in the Jerry interview earlier this week, asked him about that draft day decision. Of course, as legend had it, Parcells wanted Spears and everyone else wanted D. Ware, basically. And but Jerry said that the Parcells' reasoning on that was he felt like with Spears, it had to do with scheme. And he felt like with Spears, they could stay in a 4-3 defense. They could do either a 4-3 or a 3-4. With Ware, if they made the pick of Ware, they had to go to a 3-4.
And he gave a 5-minute story about the bet, right?
Yeah, right. Which we don't have to do.
Yeah,
now.
We don't have time for that. So you tell me, DeMarcus Ware with the Cowboys set the career sack record with 117. He had 2 seasons with 20 and 19 and a half. What made him such a good pass rusher from an offensive lineman standpoint?
He wasn't going to let you put his hand. You weren't going to put your hands on him. He tried He came to me his rookie year. I was out at UNT doing this camp, and they paid him to come out. And he said, "Big Noon, how you doing, sir?" All this great respect. He said, "Man, you need to show me some things." I said, "Son, all I can tell you." And I looked at him, how small. I said, "Son, just do not let them put your hands." I said, "I know you think that's crazy what I'm saying because I ain't showing you no techniques, but don't let them put their hands on you because once they do, you are through." And he just thought about it. He said, "Okay." And about 5 years later, he said, "Hey, Big Newton." I said, "What's up?" "Hey, man, they still ain't touching me." So.
Well, he probably came out at about 245.
Yeah,
right?
he was. I think he was 250. At the combine, he was 251.
Great
or so.
hip bend. When you going around the end, the first thing I look for in a defensive end or outside linebacker, do you have initial speed? If you have initial speed and you can bend at the waist, so when they hit you on the back of your shoulder, it launches you into the quarterback. If you can do that, you got half of the game beat. And he could do that. He could get outside fast enough that he can get his shoulders bent and he can lean and you can launch him right into the quarterback. Whether it's a 3-step drop, 5-step, or 7-step, depending on what he felt was going to be, he was good at that. And then he just built this game after that.
As Bill pointed out, when he went to Troy, like a wide receiver, tight end, and they finally moved him to defensive end. But he was a guy, and then he was on a mission because he was born in Auburn, Alabama, right. And they no interest in him whatsoever coming out of high school, and he had to go to Troy.
Because he's 195 pounds.
Yeah, right.
His measurables at the combine, okay? You talk about that bend.
Yes.
That 3-cone drill is what really shows that. He ran a 6.83 cone drill at 251 pounds. I mean, that's as good as you'll find. And that's a great indicator that he can bend, get around that corner. Yeah. And he had a 407 shuttle, 38.5 vertical, 27 bench reps at 225.
What was his 40?
His 40 was 465.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
10-yard split was 164.
Right? Yeah.
See, this is what lets you know that Parson is unique because Parson runs a 4.4, 4.5. It is so hard to run that in a short distance. Can you be as quick and as fast and show your 40 within 4 yards? I'm gonna take a guy 2 or 3 steps to get going, but it didn't take D. Ware to it. It took him 1 step to get going. It takes Parsons 1 step, and that is scary because we cannot judge your speed. And then he has a different speed when the game starts. So he's playing with you all the time because he know he's much faster than you. So, and this is what Parson has to learn if he's going to make it all 17 games at defensive end. He can play with guys. He has 3 speeds, and all of them can beat you. And then once he learns that and learns how to really play the game and find out you don't have to be wide open on every play, you can set guys up with your speed, he's going to be devastating.
And as we wrap up this edition of Mixed Shots, of course, a couple of other guys who played for the Cowboys also going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the great Chuck Howley and Zach Thomas, who played his last year with the Cowboys. I can't believe it's been 15 years since Zach Thomas was out here in 2008 as a member of the Cowboys. And you talk about a guy who needed the yoga classes. He would spend more time stretching before practice than he would stretch. Than he would practice.
Still looking for them extra couple of inches.
and probably with Chuck Howley, it's been 60 years since he was in Thousand Oaks.
Yeah.
And this was long overdue for
it's been 50.
50 years. Yeah. Well, no, he would have been there in 60.
He played in the Super Bowl in
62.
71.
Yeah, but Thousand Oaks.
When he first was
when
in
he
Thousand
first got
Oaks.
here.
First in
yeah,
Thousand Oaks.
Absolutely.
All right, that does it for this edition of Mix Shots. Before we go viral with Mickey and I acting like Dak and Trevon going at each other here at the end of the show.
Get back in the huddle.
You know what? I'm going to be
back in the huddle.
What time are you doing Mix Shots again?
What do you mean?
When's the next Mix Shots?
Next Tuesday.
Monday, right?
Next Monday.
Next Monday.
Monday.
I'll be headed to the airport.
Oh, you're not going to even be back in Dallas by then.
No, I'm flying.
So it's
Monday.
me and Nate.
Yep.
I hear maybe Isaiah.
Oh, there you go. All right, and so they will chat at you next time on Mix Shots. Go Cowboys!
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?